Good morning, everybody, or afternoon or night, depending on where you are. And welcome back to another Titan Talk, a weekly Titan Talk that, of course, we're trying to get back on schedule now that a few releases have gone through. Um, it's me, Summit, here, and we also got John as well. So super excited for both of us to be able to hear and talk about some stuff going on. How's it going, John?
Very well, thank you. That was a great introduction. It sounded like I just boarded a plane.
We're taking off at approximately 30,000 feet today, and we'll be flying over the Atlantic. It'll be really great stuff.
Exactly. Please strap in. Make yourself comfortable. Are we live? I can never quite tell if
We
we're
are
actually.
live. We are live this time. The software worked for me. I got the glorious go live button, and we were good to go.
Okay. I can't see the it says messages from the audience will display here. I can't see that on the right this side.
I think sometimes it does not show if it doesn't connect properly on there. Sometimes it doesn't. I just keep over in the YouTube channel just in case for these exact things. Um, but let me see here. I could try and get it to show for you, but it may not.
Let me see. All right, let me get this YouTube. Okay, I can't see the it says messages from the audience. Okay. That was me. Yeah, I can see it now. Hello everyone.
Awesome. All right. Uh, so let's dive in, I guess, a little bit. As many of you guys know, or kind of what we've tried talking about here too, is Titan Talks are meant to be rather short, I guess. We don't want to try and keep them super long, aside from, I know, obviously we had the big Switch talk about, and then last block and stuff like that, where we tried to bundle a ton of information into one, one talk on that. But the goal really is to keep them short, informed, answer questions, and give any updates on things that we currently have going on now. Some things that we want to definitely go through are some discussions on like last block related things, some Switch update related things, Launchpad, so listings, any token burns, some of our utilities, and maybe some adjustments that have been talked about. And then, of course, some questions and stuff. What was it?
Sorry, no, my YouTube just played again. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, come on now,
Please.
John. You're playing in the background.
I am.
But no, just a little agenda of kind of what's going on, guys, so we know where we're at with everything. And of course, just if you have any questions that you'd like answered, please just pop them in the chat, or throw them maybe in like Telegram chat or the Discord chat, and then any of the mods can toss them inside here. The best place to put it though would be in the YouTube chat, just because I can glance over and see that a lot easier than sifting through comments in all of our social platforms. But yeah. So, anything you want to say before we dive in, John?
No, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a lovely day here in England, and I hope you're all having a fantastic time wherever you are. If you're in the UK, you probably just had your Sunday lunch, roasties and potatoes and chicken and all sorts. If you're vegans, not so much. But yes, welcome to the Titan Talk. As you said, looking forward to this one. Kick it off, Summit. Tell us what we've got first, and then let's go through the topics
Let's do
one at
it.
a time.
Awesome. All right. So, many of you guys already know probably that we had our first last block winner. Last block ended, and $60,000, I would say roughly, was the grand victory prize, the last block standing prize. And that, of course, came from a combination of 30,000 being from realistically the Titans, from our whole community who put money in to that jackpot. And then, of course, all of those tokens getting a nice burn and things like that. And then we also had a good chunk that came from actually the Titano team putting money on that. So I know there's been questions on kind of how that worked, and I know we announced it, but I do just want to clarify that what we did do as far as the Titano that was supposed to be won, we actually burned all of the Titano, which was 374 million Titano. That was burned. That jackpot was burned there. Instead, the winner of last block will be sent BUSD instead. So we don't have to worry about like any sell pressure. I know that's a huge concern that the community had. The other thing too with it is we got an amazing 374 million token burn. I mean, that's pretty awesome. So I
Yeah,
love that.
that's what we set out to do with, with all of these projects, to create a deflationary utility in each case. And with the last block, with this first one, the guys went the extra mile, and they said burn the lot, which is great. I mean, that's a big burn.
Yeah. And the other thing with that is, so obviously with a sending, because it is done manually, we review those transactions. The last block winner was reviewed, and now we're just waiting for that person to reach out and contact and confirm, because it is a large transaction that gets sent over in BUSD. So we have to make sure that that is safely sent on over. So we're just waiting for that. And then once that goes through, that'll be shared as well. But yeah, awesome on the last block winner. Of course, last block was adjusted a little bit, and it continues to adjust based on, how we see it interact with the community, how we speak on or how we look at royalties and things like that. So they've upped the royalty rewards and things like that. But the last block winner was chosen. They are a real person. They weren't a bot. We just have to confirm a few things so that we can send them over the huge, big winning lump sum. Yeah, awesome
Yeah,
on.
it would be great, to get that person on the Titan Talk. So if you fancy it, obviously you don't have to, but if you're out there, you just come and claim your prize first, and so we can send it to you. And then if you fancy it, come on the talk. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear, what you're gonna do with the money. Maybe send some my way, if you fancy. But yeah, please get in touch so we can distribute your rewards.
Yeah. And I think it was also important too, because I know some people were talking about um, the last block winner, some issues with like the transaction or who was the actual winner. I Part of the reason why we manually review all these transactions is to make sure when we're sending those funds, it actually goes to the winner, or it's not botted or anything like that. So once we have the last block winner, who would, if they of course want to come out in here, or once we confirm with them that that is their wallet and everything like that, we'll share that with everybody here too. But yeah, the next thing I just wanted to talk about was Switch updates. Some things that are currently in the works that we expect to happen soon, or I should say probably first, just because they're not necessarily little things, but they're also like quality of life improvements. So a few things that are going to be coming out soon are auto tax will finally be added. Auto tax, of course, is great. That is the ability to, not have to put in slippage fees and things like that, which is great. I personally love it. I know Bogged takes advantage of it. I also want to say, I think PooCoin does it. Does that sound familiar?
I believe they do, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so I mean, that's a really great feature that they have there. So that'll be getting added on there. Another huge request that people have is dark mode. So super excited to see dark mode make an appearance on Switch. I know a lot of you are like, it's too bright, it's too much color on here. So we're switching it to a dark mode style. Part of the reason why dark mode takes a little bit of time is because it's not like we're just inverting the colors of a user interface. They're custom made to make sure that the buttons look good, that the color coincides with the text and things like that. So there's a reason why dark mode takes a little bit of time, is because it's not just, hey, switch white to black. There's a little bit more that goes into it than that if you want a good looking dark mode. Of course, people can always rush it and just be like, yeah, I'll just invert those colors. It ends up looking poor, hard to read, or things like that. And that's why it takes time just to get that dark mode out.
Yeah, it's
Um,
funny because that's what I used to think it was. I used to think you just invert the colors, and then when you do that, you actually find that half the buttons disappear because you can't see them. It's
right. Yeah.
it's something that takes time.
And as somebody who used to run websites myself, I thought I could take it the easy way around. And I was like, oh, I'll just add a light mode and a dark mode. Nope. Does not work like that. Does not work like that at all.
Yeah, but it's actually one of those small things that will make a big difference. I think a lot of people in crypto, myself included, do a lot of our stuff at night for some reason. Where we do whatever during the day, and last thing at night we're still checking it, and it just makes it so much easier on the eyes to do these things in dark mode. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Another thing as well is some sidebars adjustments are being made, along with some just code on the front end. So that'll be really cool. So we're getting some just adjustments to make, again, quality of life improvements as far as Switch goes. And then, of course, you guys know the big ones, charts and farming are coming a little bit after that as well. So more utility that'll come in with everything that goes in regards to Switch. But I think the biggest thing people have had questions about are like what's going on with Switch. It's an exchange. We have a Launchpad. We have the ability to list projects. I think maybe we tease a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, go ahead. I think it's a lot to do with what we're allowed to say, but please
Yeah.
go ahead.
Awesome. So, guys, I am happy to say that we are getting very close to getting our first project on the Launchpad, actually. And by very close, I mean within a couple days, we should probably see an announcement out. Now, keep in mind that Launchpad is different from Switch listings. Launchpad means that these are new projects who are not out yet. They're choosing to come to Switch. And they have new ideas. They might not have all of the marketing in the world. We're really giving them a foundational piece, and they're giving us, a new opportunity. So the one thing I would say with that is that obviously these projects are not going to have like a crazy following at first. And that's just because, hey, they're brand new. But I am happy to say that we are getting our first project announced for the Launchpad within a few days. So you guys should keep an eye out on the announcements on our Twitter, so Telegram, Discord, stuff like that, to see that first project that gets announced. Now, of course, that does not mean that we only have one project in the pipeline. It's just the first project that has made it past that review process. We, of course, take lots of time to make sure that these projects are good. They have a good team behind them. They have a good vision behind them. Because if we are putting them on Switch, they become an extension of us, essentially, too, just as we become an extension of them. So making sure that they are passing that process of, hey, they're genuine, they're a good project, things like that. That's great to know. But like I said, this is just the first project that will be announced. Still plenty of other things that are in the pipeline, but the first one that's going to be passing that review. So keep an eye on the next couple of days to see when that announcement goes through.
Yeah, absolutely. And please remember, we're launching one project at a time. So the idea is that you give each of these projects some space to advertise, to market, and we can support that with through our community as well, and through our connections. The idea is that we do this one first, and then we'll build from this one to the next one and to the next one, and so forth. We have, as you said, Summit, we have a whole bunch of projects that have applied already, and we're going through them. We're talking to each one. We're going through white papers, a lot of them, a lot of tokenomics. We're going through them, yourself, myself, David, the whole team. All the moderators are actively playing a part as well. They're seeing a lot of these things come through. So there's a lot on in the works. But yeah, this is very exciting. This is the first one. It'll be a good test, and it'll be good to have another community join us and another project on Switch.
100%. As far as project wise go, I think we can kind of switch gears a little bit here and move it into token burns and things like that. Because I know people have had questions about, could we do weekly burns or daily burns or things like that, or buyback burns and stuff like that. I know that the team has spoken with me, and they said that they are working on getting weekly burns. So rather than not just doing them periodically, have essentially a set day and time when a weekly burn will happen, to get a culmination of those tokens and burn them all at once. So I think that'll just be more beneficial and just shows that, hey, look at the tokens that we are accumulating, and this is how we're burning it every single week. So you guys can see what's going on with that. As far as how it will be done or what date and time it's going to happen, still nothing or I should say, no set date or time on that just yet. But it is being worked on by the teams to make sure that we can actually get a solid burn date for you guys, so that you can see all that there. But let's see here. I know that we've had some questions, and some questions kind of go hand in hand with a little bit of what I was diving into next, which kind of goes again with burns, which is like utilities, right? We use all of our utilities to actually help with the burns, to help with combat inflation, which we of course know is an ever-growing giant that we battle with continuous utilities, and of course improving upon those utilities. Now, I think one of the biggest questions was lottery. We saw big questions on lottery. Will it be adjusted? Will it be changed? Things like that. I know Richard, who was in the Telegram, actually brought this question to myself and it was going in the lines of, will lottery be changed to kind of be more enticing? So let's keep in mind that lottery at its peak was a fantastic deflationary tool. People would buy tickets with their tokens. Those tokens would then get burned. And then, of course, some sent to the jackpot with a lottery system as well. You had the numbers that you got to choose. I personally like it because I think the lottery is kind of a cool system. But as of right now, the price of a ticket is just a lot of Titano, and not everybody wants to use all that Titano. So I think the question was, could the ticket price be adjusted? And I think we can look at this of one of two ways. One way would be, do we fund the lottery and bump it up a little bit to make lottery more enticing, or do we just reduce the ticket price a little bit to get more people to buy tickets? I know the team has been talking a lot about this. I know I have. I know, John, you've brought it up a little bit too. And I think it kind of has to be a little bit of balance of everything. We don't want to drop the ticket price to the point where everybody's just buying millions of tickets. But we also want to make sure that the lottery gets a nice little stipend potentially to make it more enticing for people to buy those tickets. As of now, the lottery is still kind of in that construction phase or reconstruction phase. We are waiting, of course, to get Switch fully going and fully chugging along a little bit more here before we start doubling back and taking a look at everything that goes lottery-wise. But it is a good suggestion. I think it's a great question that Richard posed, and I think it's something that we definitely could look a little bit more into. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, John.
Yeah, it's something we've spoken about in the team quite a bit, actually. I think one of the things that we've concentrated on, well, a few of the things we've concentrated on are the development of further utilities. Whether that's last block and of course TSP and Switch in and of itself. So we've been working really hard on that. The team's really put all their focus there. But the lottery is, as you say, a really good burning mechanism once you have a lot of mass behind it. Now the issue is, during the last few months, people find their purse strings are a bit tighter, and they don't have the free money to spend on it. So the rewards were reduced, the people are buying it less. But I think as we come out of this bear market, hopefully we can turn our attention to the lottery again. I think it really is a great utility. And if we get more projects on the platform, more projects connected to us, everyone's going to see the lottery. That's a lot more tickets to be sold there. And I think one of the things the guys have talked about is adding to that lottery jackpot for those moments. So if we have a relaunch, say in the future of the jackpot, when there's a lot more people there, we can really throw some money at it for some special occasions, be it New Year jackpot, or the Valentine's jackpot, whatever it might be. If there's a special date we want to do that, we can generate some marketing behind it as well, get it out there. So it's not just amongst the few people that are playing it right now, but amongst a wider crowd. I think it can really appeal if the jackpot's bigger. And as you say, that we can look at the ticket prices at that time, depending on the market and depending how flush people feel. All these games are the same. People have to feel like they're getting something back for what they spend. That's totally understandable, and the incentive might be the jackpot, but also it might be the ticket price. So it's something to look at as we come back around to it when we've built the audience for it, I think.
100%. So, I mean, that's just one of the few things that we have going to. Of course, we still have like Play, BetSwirl, TSP. I know another question that was really brought up was TSP. And I think TSP is a phenomenal resource and a phenomenal use case for Titano, kind of locking up those tokens, burning all the tokens that come out of it, and then paying back in BUSD, which, of course, in more volume markets gives you even more return on your investment with things like that. So I know another huge question that people have been asking for, or I should say that people want, is more TSP ladders. So things like 3, 6, 9, 12-month markers and things like that. Again, another thing that is being suggested and is being worked on. So we should probably be seeing TSP ladders sometime in the future. So just keep in mind that is something that's in the works. Not something right now, but it is something that is in the works, because I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for too. Is not everybody wants to lock up for 12 months. Maybe they just want to lock up for 3 months or 6 months and just get those BUSD rewards. Personally, I love it. I think it was a great idea from a lot of the community that's given that feedback. Passed it forward for sure, and I think that would be awesome to hear on that. But yeah, um, anything that you want to add as far utility wise, John? I don't know.
I really like the idea of having, extra ladders, extra timelines on those staking pools, and I believe that the devs have that in mind already, and they also have in mind other staking pools, and of course in the future farming as well. So there's a lot to come in that respect, and you can only really do that when you have your own decks, which is great, because we have our own decks. So there's a lot that can be built around what we already have. Yeah, it's something to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. All right. So I did want to kind of talk on a few questions that people had. People had messaged me and things like that. If that's all right with you, kind of just discuss some
Yeah,
things because I know,
let's do
as
it.
I said, like, it's not always going to be crazy amounts of news, but I think people just have some questions that they want to know. One of them was from Briss Van Hall from Telegram. And they said the prices in the ecosystem go down in value due to the price decline, which could be less appealing. What could be done to solve that issue? And I think the answer to that is, well, obviously we want the prizes to be in Titano because we want people to use Titano for those prizes. So first off, it's something where those utilities are always going to have prizes in Titano, just because if somebody were to take their Titano and we want to pay it out in BUSD, we can't always pull money off from everything. It wouldn't be sustainable to just pull money out of the treasuries or the RFV or whatever it may be to pay out those prizes, which means we would have to take that Titano, turn it into BUSD, and then give out the prize in that way, which is putting negative pressure on Titano. So I think a lot of it comes from, we have to look at, is there a way that we can add additional funds to the pool occasionally, or looking towards a way of just adding a better pricing, getting more positive price impact on Titano. And I think a lot of that comes from, of course, we have Switch coming out, which will bring more volume, which can put more money into Titano, which in turn and helps boost up the prize pools because Titano goes up in price. You have, of course, the utilities that help combat the inflation a little bit to help it be a little bit more beneficial and help that prize to appreciate more because, the supply and demand laws and things like that. But a lot of it is those prizes have to be in Titano, or else you're not really getting a benefit to Titano. They have to be in Titano so that the tokens can be burned, so they can be taken out of circulation and things like that. Anything that you want to add to that? I think it was kind of, we got to keep the prizes in Titano. I don't think there's any changes to be made on that.
No, I think you're right. It's kind of what we just touched upon with the lottery. We can definitely stimulate higher prizes, by adding more to the prize funds. That's exactly what the devs did in the recent last block, which was great. They added a 30,000 bonus to that fund, essentially doubling the winnings. So I think the winner took 60,000 US, right, which was fantastic. And that's something they can do, but it's a balance. It's a balancing act. They want to use that money for development. They want to use that money for other things right now. When we have more volume in the decks, when we have more volume on the Titano token, there's more money to spend. So it's kind of a vicious circle, but essentially you're right. It's just something we have to play by ear. When the market's good, we can put some more in, and then we can stimulate more interest. But it's a lot to do with building out the platform, building out the ecosystem, getting more people here, because more people playing the games will increase the volume, will increase the jackpots, will make it more enticing. So that's what we're kind of focusing on at the moment. But not to say that we won't add to those prize funds on special occasions or when the opportunity arises.
100%. 100%. As far as other questions that I have seen, let's see. I haven't seen anything really a ton in the chat. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about marketing because you're more familiar with all that side than I am.
Yeah.
Just maybe that'd be great, I think.
Yeah, so we'll as everyone knows, we've been working with the agency for God, it feels like a lot longer, but about 5-6 weeks now. Is it longer? Maybe a bit longer.
It feels like a little bit longer.
Yeah, but yeah, continuing to work with them. I know in the last week I've just finished up an article with them, so we have another article coming out in the next few days. They've been working on the branding and literally looking at now the brand book for Switch. So that's like a style guide for. I know this sounds. It's funny for people listening us in because they might think, oh well, you've already got a website up and it looks great or it looks good, and so what do you need to work on these things for? Well, actually, these are all foundational pieces so that when you connect with other projects, when you look to do bigger things, everyone wants your brand book so that they can share things properly. As you look to do more promotion, either marketing through different channels, all social media channels, you have to provide marketing style guides. So this all has to be created. So this is one of the things they've worked on. And I remember we've got about now a team of, I'm looking at the group that I have with them, a team of 17 people with that marketing agency. So there's a couple of people working on the branding guide. So
Wow.
don't worry, there's other people working on other things. It's constantly going, but that's just an example of what's happening on a daily basis. Yeah, they have a bunch of ads, an ad campaign coming out. We are finalizing that now. And on top of that, David has been in constant communication with our internal team. So we've been building out an internal team. That's a few guys which are going to work on more copywriting, more graphics. I saw someone post in the YouTube comments here before. Someone was asking about getting graphics for TSP, graphics for last spot, this kind of thing. Yes, exactly what we're doing. We're building out assets for all of those things. When you want to put out ads, when you want to put out banners, you need all these things created. And so we've got guys that are just targeted at doing that now. So that's their job, 24/7 job. So copywriting is another one which builds SEO. If you guys know your SEO, then essentially you need people to be able to search and come to the site. Just a side note for those that are interested. I don't know if this is interesting to people, but it's hard if you look at any of the big SEO websites. So you can go on there, just type in Titano. You can actually see that Titano ranks very, very well. Actually, the issue is not that Titano can't be seen. The issue is that the market has been bad, and so now we're just repositioning Titano. And like I said, with all the assets that we're trying to build, we're going to get it back out there so people see it again. It's something people have seen before, but if they still see that Titano is still out there, still working, still building, I think this is how what they call retargeting of warm traffic. This is a big step for us to really push that. We're going to spend a lot of money on that, and hopefully bring people back that were interested in Titano, or bring people in that have never invested but have seen the logo around. And as you know, many people know the name, but they may not quite know what it's about. And in the last few months, they may have been not investing in crypto or just standing on the sidelines, not just for Titano, but for BTC, for BNB. Everyone's stabled out a lot of their money. So now we're just reminding them, okay, we're still here, we're still building, and we've got a whole bunch of cool stuff that you can now jump in on, from the games, going back to Last Block, Lottery, all these things, Bets World stuff, to now we've got the decks as well. So it's probably worth coming in and buying that Titano, because it's with the decks building out, there's a lot that we can bring to Titano, a lot of buy pressure that we can bring. So this is what we're doing right now with our in-house team as well, and David's working really hard on that. That's probably one of the reasons he's not here, couldn't make it today. He's on 16, 17-hour days between doing that and jumping in the Discord and saying hello to everyone. And I should mention as well, one of the other projects that we've been trying to get on board, and I think it's I can't say it's going ahead, but we're talking to them about launching with us as well. It's a really cool gaming project, and David's been working on that. So when he's online, you guys can nudge him for some info on that, see if you can get anything out of him. He's probably going to tell me off now, but there you go.
I love it though. I love it. Thank you so much for all of that. Oh my gosh.
No problem.
I think that was just
So expect to see a lot more in terms of content. We're going to push the SEO on Switch a lot because so you've got all the Titano marketing, but also a whole bunch of marketing for Switch coming out because of course we want to be a DEX which is project friendly, you know, which is about the Launchpad, bringing more people to the DEX, bringing more community to the DEX, which in turn feeds Titano and supports Titano. So a lot of what we're doing now, marketing wise, is also to lift Switch up, make it look as it is, as a very project friendly DEX, you know, incredibly low fees, and all the native tokens that are collected in the project tokens will be burned. So they're getting a great deal. You know, you're not getting that anywhere else. And with it, you get a lot of some marketing support, and you get, you know, access to our community as well. You know, our community is going to be super interested in their projects as they are going to be interested in Titano because of all the utility that we created. So yeah, it's an exciting time in marketing. There's a lot happening. I appreciate, you know, sometimes it's difficult to see, but yeah, you should see some articles coming out this week, and then you should see a lot of assets coming out through our ads and through the socials as well. So keep an eye
Yeah,
out for those.
100%. I love it. I have actually not seen any other really crazy questions. Um, Let me see if there's anything that I'm missing inside of our Discord channels or the Telegram chats or anything here that people were bringing up, but I haven't really seen anything. Yeah, I don't see anything on that. So, what I would say is if you guys do have more questions or have any concerns or anything like that, please, please, please reach out and send them to us. I'm happy to answer them or at least find an answer for you. Might not always have the answer immediately, but we'll always be happy to find an answer for you. Of course, you can DM myself, you can DM Ahmad, you can go in the main chats. Of course, we always just ask, just be respectful, be nice when you pose those questions. Don't want to, you know, come in hot and then think it's the, you know, you're not coming in here to have a genuine conversation. We get misconstrued or wherever it may be. Just, you know, hey, be respectful, and as long as it's a respectful conversation, we are happy to answer it, no matter what the question is on that. But yeah, anything that you wanted to add, John? I don't know.
I'm just looking through the questions on YouTube, but I mean, I think we seem to have answered most of them actually. Nothing that I particularly want to add. Nothing to add. Someone said, want to live in the UK. All right, it's hard to read this while I'm on this call because it doesn't show up, does it, on my Restream app?
It does not. I don't know why.
I'm trying to look at my phone, but I don't want to do it right now. It's too. I'm looking at two screens now. No, forget it. Forget it. Do you have any questions for me, Summit? Or
I think we're good on that end.
okay.
If there's any other questions, I'm happy to hop in a Telegram chat and talk about them. Of course, these are just casual conversations and, you know, quick AMA things and things like that. But yeah, of course, always ask around. We're happy to give that. I guess I'll just give you guys back the time that you've spent, and thank you guys for coming in here for today. We're going to try and do these either every single Saturday or Sunday. So one of those days, it may be myself on it, maybe John with me, maybe David with me, maybe just me. Who knows? Could be moderators, could even be the marketing agency that pops on for one of these, right? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean
So
that's something we've been pushing them to do, and you know, I'd love for them to come on board and sorry, come on the show and say hello because everyone doubts they exist. No, not everyone. A few people doubt they exist. So they do exist. They've been on our backs for the last 5, 6, 7 weeks, whatever it is, and they'll tell you themselves, getting information out of us, and it's just been endless questions on it. So I'd love for them to be on board and tell you what they've got planned and how they're going to do it. And you know, marketing is one of those difficult things where you don't see anything for a long time and then it happens, right?
yeah,
And then you go, oh well, obviously, well, that happened overnight. That's strange, but it doesn't happen overnight. It's a lot of build up, a lot of foundational pieces, like I said, a lot of asset building. So whether that's visual, audio, video, a lot of boring stuff, to be honest, that gets created so that when we need it, it can just be plucked out and used. everything from choosing fonts and colors, like I said in the branding guide, to music. You know, it's a lengthy and comprehensive thing, and you know, that's why I'm really glad they're on board, and I'm really glad we've got also our internal team which can build things out quite quickly that we might need for socials or for just, you know, for presentations or things like that we're doing with other projects. So it's good to have both. I'd say essential, actually, and now we have it. Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. All right, guys. Well, I hope you all have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Of course, please hit us up if you need anything at all. And yeah, have a great one, guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.